Welcome to Las Vegas Lockdown Live, daily tarot reading. This is day 9 of 30. We are checking in from Zombieland 2020 double tap with a self-love tip and a collective read for the community.
So we are locked down in Las Vegas and in our house, literally at Sunrise Garden
with zero
adult supervision. It's 3 p.m. happy hour. It is actually not 3 p.m. It's 4 p.m. because I took a nap. I had a little crash. Happy hour is officially paused for 30 days. I'm like, it's 3 o'clock. No, I lost an hour. But we are still running amok with unicorns and fairies, just with naps fit into my schedule now and making our own happy hour just inside.
And for those of you that are just getting to know us,
I'm Heather.
And I'm David.
From ZenRoseGarden.com,
home of Zen Ed Academy.
But I do want to shout out our Vegas peeps who are here. We're super low on our numbers right now, only because we don't have tests. I know we tough here, but don't get a false sense of security. Keep it mobster, self-quarantine like it's prohibition, and you got to guard the booze. I'm just saying. I'm putting it in Vegas terminology for my Vegas peeps.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm real tough with my purple Band-Aid. And I'm having my mugwort sage peppermint tea on the daily with you guys. I decided this is tea hour, and it's just good. Good. It's a tea hour.
That's a tea hour moment.
It's a tea. Oh, dude, we are all having a tea hour moment right now. So I'm like, yeah.
Controlled fall, or is shit just going crazy?
It's a controlled fall right now. By the way, I'm in my Transformers pajamas today because forget it. Adult from here up.
Cutest tea set.
I'm just saying, my son bought this for me in China, like the actual China, like before.
Like the actual China.
He was getting his 3rd degree.
As opposed to some other China.
Well, no, I mean, because stuff that comes from China right now is not that popular, but he was getting his 3rd degree black belt at the Shaolin Temple in China, in the mountains with the Shaolin monks. Legit, he's a badass. And he brought me this teapot with all the things on it. It's got all these the women doing all the like art and all the things.
You need hands. I
need hands. But he bought, I guess it's show and tell, but he bought this for me because he's like, Mom, this is you because you're a musician and an artist and a philosopher and you do all these things. And he was like, bought it for mommy. And it's one of my prized possessions. So if we got to leave, this is going with me if we're bugging out, but
we're not bugging out.
We're not bugging out.
All right.
So have those tarot cards and your oracle cards ready, whichever you got.
Yes. So it's time to tag up which tarot card fits your day today. If you've got cards, it is time to pull, drop it now. If you don't, pick one out of the imaginary tarot deck in your head and drop it in the comments.
And tell us what you think it means to you. First impulse, and we will drop some insight after we do the collective read. I changed it from collective pull to collective read, trying to keep it somewhat PG-13.
At least PG-18.
If you know me and David, we are big on teaching self-reliance so that you can be more confident with your intuition instead of scrolling through your Facebook feed, frantically searching for the next free tarot card reader, right? I know you do it. Like, don't do that.
I don't do it.
I mean, there's some good ones out there, but I'm just saying self-reliance is so much better.
So when something goes down, we want you to be able to trust yourselves and use your cards as a way to calm and center yourself. You don't have to rely on somebody else or everybody else. Anyway, now it is time for the collective card of the day about our energy as a global community right now.
So both the cards I pulled today are reversed, and the first one was this one, and it's the 4 of Wands reversed, which, guys, this is like one of the only cards in the tarot deck that means the exact same thing reversed as it does upright. It's just like, I think whoever made the tarot originally was like, I'm just too lazy. Let's just make it mean the same thing.
Right.
So basically the 4 of Wands, if you want to have it mean something a little different, it might be a slower build to it. But the 4 of Wands in general is a really happy card because it's sort of, and kind of it's what we're doing right now because the 4 of Wands is about getting out of town, going on a vacation in the country, getting away from it all, but being in nature. So the 4 of Wands is really about being in nature. It's about bliss. It's about a break. It's not about a work.
Right.
It is about desire, but not the desire towards building work, right? It's about just chilling in nature under a tree. And also if you're in the city, like we are, it's about hanging out with your house plants. Oh, we do have a backyard. We're not like
hanging out in nature, whether that's your backyard, your house plants, whatever happens to be indoors that is alive.
It's really about getting back to nature, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a really and then I was like, okay, well, since you wanted to go upside down, let's pull another card. So I pulled a qualifier. Okay, a three of swords.
Three of
reversed,
swords.
I'm sorry. So
not three of hearts.
I think this is what this is telling us with the Three of Hearts reversed for us as a community, right? Is that we need to be cautious with our emotions, not hold them in and let them build up, process them. But the Three of Hearts, I keep calling it Three of Hearts. The Three of Swords in its upright position is sort of like shit that happens to you, maybe in your relationship, maybe in your business. There's like something that disrupts it. It's a heartbreak. When it's reversed, it sort of means that you're holding on to that. You're dwelling. You're taking that initial situation that's been inflicted on you and you're dwelling on it. So you might have had some loss. Like we know there's loss right now. We're all dealing with some sort of grief that's very real because things are changing and things are shifting. And regardless of, even if we go back to normal in a month or so, things have still shifted. Right. So it's about don't dwell on don't continue, don't dwell. Let's make something beautiful out of the chaos that's happened. So what that
and something new.
And so what that's telling us as a community is don't let the external disorder of the world permanently cause you confusion and distraction and distress, because that's going to ooze out and create a new situation that is going to slowly bring more ruin and more isolation to your life.
Or this could have something to do with the coronavirus. Corazon? No.
Oh, corazon. Okay. You're trying to be Spanish and stuff. So
yeah.
So I
am nowhere close to Spanish.
So to me, I think that's kind of what it's calling us to do, right? Like, let's take some time and rediscover nature. And I kind of had a talk with Mother Earth today. And if you know me, I don't often get all airy-fairy, but I don't always get all airy-fairy, right? You know me, I'm pretty grounded, I'm pretty solid, but I do have a deep spiritual belief in the earth, that the earth is an energy, that the earth is a spirit. And so I kind of like dug my feet into the earth this morning and just had a talk like, hey, I know you're rebooting something right now. Right? You're rebooting some shit right now. And we're just like, we're with you.
And we're along for the ride.
We're along for the ride. So we're just going to hold on and adapt as we can. So I think the word for today is adaptability.
Julie says, I have Wild Unknown deck and got 10 of Swords. What is up with the swords today? So this card looks awful.
It's all, yeah.
9 of Swords into the body and one that goes through both eyes of a bull, raining with complete darkness under him, but the sky is bright.
We all think of the death card as the death card, right? But the death card is sort of the leaving behind of old beliefs. It's something that dies in the physical, but not necessarily a physical death. The 10 of Swords is kind of more the real death card. And let's be real. There's death happening right now. With death, there's a rebirth.
Absolutely.
You know? So you have to look at
what's being completed, what is ending, what cycle is ending in order for the new one to birth. Okay, so that cycle can be Mother Earth and the full reset.
Yeah, so I mean, cycle of life, I feel like the Lion King should be playing right now. So let's just play that.
What about that darkness over there?
Yeah.
We must never speak of that. So it is time for the good stuff. It is time for the self-care tip of the day. Something easy to do right now to lower fear, anxiety, stress, and depression.
So we talked about conscious relaxation on day 5 of our 30-day series. And we touched on breathing and how deeper lung breathing, like deep lung breathing and expanding the rib cage all around can stimulate DMT in the lungs. It's really good for you. But today I want to talk about breathing as a spiritual practice.
Yep.
Because I think breathing is the number one easiest meditation you can do. And in Western cultures, breathing is not considered a spiritual activity, but in Eastern traditions, it is at the core of spiritual practice. Why is that? Because I think we know
breath is life.
Breath is life. It is life. We know this. And the one thing we cannot live without for very long is breath. So in Taoism, for instance, the breath is a metaphor for the soul itself. So it's sort of like, let's get down to basics and be thankful for that one thing that we cannot live without. I mean, I can say I can't live without David, right? I can't live without my teapot or my glasses or my tarot card deck, but I literally can't live without my breath. So
yeah, so spiritual breathing techniques give you more control over mental and emotional states and are proven to be neurologically healthy, good for your brain. Different breathing techniques affect different parts of the brain, literally. Today, we want to focus on one gentle breathing technique.
So rapid breathing, for instance, can affect quick breathing, and rapid deep breathing can sort of stimulate the fight or flight kind of, right? So
or get you up and moving.
So we're talking about breathing exercises, lower stress and anxiety in general. So they improve coping skills and they calm panic. But gentler forms of breathing specifically enhance awareness and relaxation, while that deep lung breathing we showed you a couple of days ago on day 5 can increase emotional intensity. So you're going to bring stuff up. Right?
Hashtag DMT.
Right. Not just that, but emotions. So gentle, slow, focused breathing triggers relaxation and increases dopamine in the brain. And I'm telling you right now, we can't get enough dopamine.
Dope is good.
Dopamine is good.
Okay, dopamine is good.
Dopamine is good.
With all meditative breathing in general, most of the time, breathe through your nose, because nasal breathing increases nitric oxide in the body, improves lung functioning and the circulatory system functioning. Nitric oxide in the blood can lower anxiety because it lowers blood pressure and relaxes blood vessels. So try it most of the time through your nose.
So we know, but I'm going to give you a little tip on how to not, because I have low blood pressure. I have very low blood pressure. So I have to always kind of watch what I eat. I have to watch my blood sugar.
And how she breathes.
And how, so for me, in my life, I have to do things that actually keep my blood pressure elevated, because it can dip to 80 over 60, and it can dip pretty low. But we know that deeper lung breathing triggers a different neurological response.
Right.
Deeper lung breathing, like we showed you lesson 5, is
also leads to yawning.
Yeah, but that lowers. I'll wait till David is done with his dog and pony show with his son. So it lowers carbon dioxide in the blood and reduces the monkey mind to help you CTFO. And that's the deeper lung breathing, right?
And that's chill the funk out, by the way.
Right. So, but it's good to alternate when you're doing a breathing practice. And we'll give you a really quick one that combines these two in a second. Right. It's good to alternate between those two: gentle, focused, slow breathing and the deep lung breathing, to balance the two processes. And for people like me, like I said, with low blood pressure, it's important to alternate them so you don't pass out and lower that blood pressure too low. But for anybody, if you're doing, let's say, a 5 to 10 minute breathing meditation, it shouldn't be 5 to 10 minutes of deep lung, because you're probably going to pass out. Right. So do the deep lung breath 5 times for not more than 30 seconds at a time. So like count to 5 in and out 5 times. And if that should be around 30 seconds. So 5 of the deep
breathing,
and then follow it with 10 gentle breaths through the nose, just like focusing on the breath. So with all of this breathing, you're just focusing on the breath. If your mind wanders, bring it back. So gentle breathing through the nose and then deep. So just remember 5 and 10, 5 and 10. Got it? I promise you, it'll really help. 5
and 10.
It's really more important than we think. And even now, it's like the stronger we can make our lungs and our heart and our blood, because when we boost that nitric oxide by breathing through the nose, and we boost the nitric oxide in the blood, it opens up the blood vessels. It stimulates so much stuff in the blood boosting your immune system. Immune system.
It's especially for emotional times like this, when the immune is in the crescent. And Enoch says, I'm guessing you aren't talking the Wim Hof method. No, we are not specifically talking about the Wim Hof method. That's a totally different method of breathing.
We're just giving you a real simple.
Right. But that is also another really good method of breathing. And Nicole says, I got the star card. Nicole, drop in the comments what your intuitive read, your impulsive read on the star card is, and then we'll give you some insight into that.
I'll hit the star card in a second, give you a chance to put what you feel it is in for you, because this is about you guys. I pulled for me the 2 of Swords. There's so many swords this week.
So many swords today.
And it fit my day today, because the 2 of Swords is about concord in the state of arms. Like You're like, I got to go through this shit, but I'm going to keep my cool. I know I can handle it. I have faith in my abilities. It's going to be tough sometimes. Sometimes it's about the end of a relationship where you got to hold your shit together, especially if you've got a kid and you're working your way out of something that's toxic. So the Two of Swords is about...
No, our relationship is not ending. We are doing amazing even in lockdown.
Yeah, no, but this is my relationship with this fucking virus, right? So
right, but we've set the foundation for our relationship to actually become stronger in a situation like this.
It's making sure you know that.
I'm just making sure y'all know, because I know.
The star is traditionally like in sort of an outward expression of the card. It's about hope. And it's about, hang in there, kind of faith and optimism, which is what we all need right now.
Right.
But the star is also calling you to listen deeper and quieter, to receive as much of the messages as you can take in.
And to breathe deeper.
To breathe deeper. The star is about bring as big of a vessel as you can to take as much of that water from the star as you can. So it's about hope, yes, but it's about receiving.
So my thing that came in for me going into Aries season, really positive direction. Yes. Awesome, Nicole. So yeah, that's a little deeper breakdown on the star. So the conclusion
is take the time for your spiritual practice. And I really, you guys, you're saving me as much as, I know we're coming on here to kind of like try to bring some good mojo, but you guys really, for me, I feel so much better after I hang out with you every day, because today was kind of, I had a shitty afternoon. I kind of had a crash and had to take a nap, but thinking about my kids, right? Because they're on their own right now and we're not having a lot of contact physically.
Yes.
And that kind of is hard for me as a mom, but the conclusion is take time for your spiritual practice, even if it's that little 5-minute breathing meditation, just a simple breath meditation so you can make it through the crisis with your mental health and immune system boosted as much as possible.
Yes. And we want to take a quick moment to tell you about our online community where our Zen heads and the official ZRG Tarot Tribe hang out, because isolation doesn't mean that you have to be alone. We have online connections just like this, and in our community.
We did in-person workshops in Las Vegas for over 10 years. And from us wanting to create something more meaningful than just a one-off Kumbaya weekend intro on how to make a sage bundle, or something like that, it's done.
Right.
And we did see a huge change coming on, a global scale. So we started laying the groundwork years ago.
And our personal desire for a different kind of solid online tribe prompted us to break ground digitally on our online metaphysical school and community 3 years ago, so that we could empower more people and connect a tribe of badass powerhouses across the globe 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
Suddenly here we are. Right.
Not everyone wants to go to a spiritual healing center and literally can't right now, when it's even more important to connect with other humans for your emotional and your mental health and your balance and your ritual and your routine. You've got to have something to save your sanity.
But I'm really proud to say that we have essentially created a fully operational healing center that fits in the palm of your hand. Not just one class, but over 16 serious PhD-backed classes. So it's not just some one-off pop-up class that's gone when it's done, like learn to make a medicine bag or a crystal grid or stuff you can just grab for free on Google or YouTube, but meaningful courses with information you can't find on Google or YouTube.
So check that out in the description.
That's our little thing about our jam for you guys. So remember to smile, to laugh, to exercise your mind, to turn up your belly dancing music, Amy Danielson.
Amy, we see you.
Jam for me. That shit is hard. I've taken a couple belly dancing classes. Not easy stuff. You're like, oh, those little isolations, right? So hug yourself. Breathe, do something calming, practice allowance for the people in your space that ate too much starch, and can't poop. And at least once today, practice this breathing meditation that we gave you. And if you missed it, go get it on the replay. We love you. We will see you soon.